The 2022 F-150 Raptor is going to be revealed next week on February 3rd. And let me tell you right now, Ford has big changes for this generation. I'm so excited to share this information with you guys, so let's just get started. Alright, so as some of you may already know, I made a video a while back discussing the next generation Raptor, and one of the topics discussed was what engine would be in it. Well, rumor has it that Ford has big plans for this generation. To understand how we got to this point, we need to understand the Raptor's history. Back in 2010, the first generation Raptor was released. This was the first truck of its kind. No other brand had released a truck like it. It was an instant hit, and by 2017, the Raptor was in its second generation. And although the redesign looked great, there was one thing that many people were upset about. The mighty V8 had been replaced with a twin-turbo V6. And although it made more power than the previous generation Raptor, it just didn't sound nearly as good. Despite this change, Raptor sold like hotcakes, with many dealers struggling to keep up with demand. At this point, there was no doubt the Raptor was a hit, but for the longest time, it had no real competition. But all that changed when Ram announced the TRX. If you haven't heard, the Ram TRX is the first real competitor to the Raptor. This truck features the Hellcat V8, which produces 702 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. This is substantially more than the Ford Raptor at 450 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. As a direct result, Ford will need to respond with a new Raptor. I mean, after all, Dodge is putting these graphics under the hood of the Raptor being eaten by a T-Rex. Ram understands that people love the V8 engine and fully embraces it, giving the people what they want. So what is Ford's response going to be? Well, it appears that Ford is going to release not one, but two variants of the new Raptor. The standard Raptor model will most likely come with the same 3.5-liter V6, but with a boost in power. Realistically, it might be making somewhere around 500 horsepower and 535 pound-feet of torque. This is a nice gain in power, but nowhere close to the Ram TRX's V8. So to take on the TRX, Ford will be releasing a second Raptor variant with a V8 engine. It's believed the V8 variant will be called the Raptor R. The engine used will be none other than Ford's GT500 supercharged 5.2-liter V8, and it will be more than capable of taking on the Ram TRX. In the GT500, the 5.2 makes 760 horsepower, and even if Ford decides to detune the engine for the Raptor, which they most likely will, it would still make more power than the Ram TRX. Now, to make things even more exciting, it's quite possible the Raptor will also receive a Tremec 7-speed DCT, like the GT500. If this is the case, the Raptor is going to shift extremely quick. For those of you unaware, a DCT is a dual-clutch transmission. It's not like a standard automatic. If anything, it's more like a manual transmission. If you've ever put a modern automatic in sport mode to shift the gears, you'll find that there's always a delay for the shifting. But with a DCT, it feels almost instantaneous. This will make all the difference in the world. To be quite honest, if Ford doesn't put a V8 in the Raptor at this point, it's gonna look so bad. How many videos would we see of a Ram versus a Raptor and the Ram just destroying it in a drag race? As far as the exterior goes of this new Raptor, there have been leaks. This first image shows a CAD model. You can see that new grille, Ford. It looks a lot like the previous generation, to be honest. But you can also see those new headlights. I think those headlights make a huge improvement. And this next image here is even better. It's an actual picture of one of the test models in the factory. I'm sure this picture was not supposed to be released. I don't know how Ford keeps allowing this to happen, but it looks like there's going to be an opening in the fender flare, maybe for aerodynamics or heat extraction. I'm not 100% sure. But you can definitely tell Ford has taken the time to sculpt this F-150 into an even more refined version of itself. Now, when are we going to see the actual reveal? Well, Ford has officially announced it will be revealed on February 3rd. It's about time the V8 came back. I don't know what Ford was thinking when they got rid of it. You just can't beat the rumble of a V8 engine. The biggest thing I'm concerned about at this point is how much money is it going to cost. Considering a base Raptor started around $53,000, it's easily going to tack on another 15 grand just to get the V8. And to be quite honest, it's probably going to be even more. But nevertheless, the Raptor is finally getting a V8, and we should be so happy for that. I think it's safe to say that this Raptor, if it comes with the V8, is going to pose a huge threat to the Ram TRX. Just like the horsepower wars, we're now entering a super truck war.